Hey guys, you're looking at a TSIO520 engine cutaway at Ram Aircraft. I was recently at airframe and systems seminar for twin Cessna owners. And I just thought I'd do a quick video showing this engine cutaway. It's quite neat. So you can see cylinders 5, 3, and 1 here removed, and you can see the camshaft down there. That's better. There it goes. There's the camshaft. There's the rod journal on the crankshaft. This is the front gear that drives the alternator. I'm not a mechanic. I can't give you the exact technical names for all this stuff, so bear with me. Comment below if there's any corrections, but there's a little hole right there. That's so you can find the timing mark to set the engine timing. That's the inspection hole from the other side. I'm turning the propeller on the engine here, and you can see the gear move. So somewhere in there, there's a timing mark. I think it's there. You can just quickly see it. That's the fuel divider or the spider. I've heard it called different things. The manifold valve up on top of the engine. Fuel pump increases the fuel pressure and pops open that little diaphragm, and then fuel flows to the various cylinders. So that's the little diaphragm there with a spring to hold it closed. So the fuel pressure overcomes that. And then you can see one of the fuel lines going to the fuel injector on cylinder number 6 there. Here are the magnetos on the back accessory pad. Believe it or not, this actually has impulse couplings. I would have thought an engine like this would have shower or spark system. I think this is off a bearing. Let me know if you know the answer to that. That's the rear gear train for the accessory case. It's the vacuum pump on the left. This is the starter, and the notorious starter Continental adapter drive there, which the starter's mounted 90 degrees to that. Cause of some issues in some Continental engines. That is the fuel pump, I believe, and the fuel controller. Again, the vacuum pump on top there, you can see a cutaway of the vacuum pump. That's obviously the oil filter. This is the tach generator, which makes me think it's off a bearing, so that basically spins and generates a current, and then the tachometer in the cabin just basically has a relationship between current and RPM. There's the fuel controller again. It's a turbocharged engine, obviously. That is a cutaway in yellow there of the oil cooler. They've kind of cut it in a funny shape, so it's hard to see what it looks like. That's the oil filler. I was actually looking in here. My oil filler's more forward on my IO470. I was wondering if I could inspect my camshaft with a bore scope through my oil filler, so I was looking at that. Cylinders are mounted on this side, so this is 6, 4, and 2, left to right. Cylinder 6 here, you can see on the ends of it the compression rings, and then the wider ring is the oil control ring or oil scraper ring on the piston there. I believe I've got that right. You can see the honing, the scoring of the cylinder. And then here are on the left the intake and exhaust valves. The intake valve's always bigger, and you can see the spark plug. And that's the spark plug boss on the top of the cylinder that's been cut. And you can also see the fuel injector just up and to the right of that. Also, notice how the cylinder bore is screwed onto the cylinder head, and you can see they're kind of different colors. That's because the cylinder head's aluminum, and then the bore is steel. You can actually see the threads there, so it's literally screwed on. Here's a cylinder number 4 cut a little bit different. You can see the rocker arm, so the valves are removed. So the push rod would push that back and forth, and that would push the valves open and closed. And then here are the valves with the valve springs and retainers in place on cylinder number 6. Also showing a cutaway of the valve cover. And then here's another cylinder cut down through the intake in blue and exhaust in red. You can see the lower spark plug, and you can see the exhaust gasket here. There's the push rod openings. On the other side, you can see the lifters here, or the tappets I'm pointing to in place. You can see the camshaft there, and I'm pretty certain most Continental engines you can actually pull the lifters out without splitting the case. I think it's Lycoming that you have to split the case. Again, there's cylinders 5, 3, and 1 are removed. This is where my oil filler is on top of my IO470 and my Cessna 310. I was actually looking down here to just see if you could see the camshaft. I'm thinking I can get, there it is right there. I'm thinking I can possibly, if I rotate my propeller around, I can get a bore scope down there and just have a quick look at my camshaft. So there's the alternator and the alternator drive. Again, a source of issues on some Continental engines, I guess, if it's not maintained well. And there's the propeller governor. That shaft on the right is where the propeller control is. So when you change the propeller pitch, it moves that. There's a mirror under here. So you're looking up, you're looking down at the mirror, which is looking up under the oil pan, and you can see the suction tube, which has kind of a rough filter on it. You can see there's lots of little holes drilled in it. That's to stop things with part numbers on it from going into your oil pump.